Hi, and welcome to the work order notifications video. There are a number of different notifications that can be sent regarding work orders. These include when a work order is requested, when a work order is assigned, when a work order is closed, and a few others. Setting up yourself or another user to receive notifications can be confusing because there are several methods for doing so. We'll outline them here. 1. Adjust the user's account messaging settings. 2. Manually assign the user to the work order. 3. Assign the user to the asset. Let's go through these one at a time. Number 1 is used to give the user a system-wide visibility of work orders that they may or may not be assigned to. I'll go into Fred's user account. Fred is the maintenance manager, so he wants to be notified for all work orders in his facility, not just the ones he's personally assigned to. Under the Messaging tab, there are a few options. The first two checkboxes are for how Fred wants to be notified. He can receive the notifications to his email, or to his notifications folder inside MA. Next, we set the work order statuses he wants to be notified for. Once the work order is changed to the selected status, a message will be sent out. In this case, Fred only cares about work orders once they're closed, so we'll just check off the last one. Finally, you can select the assets for which Fred will receive notifications. The first option is for all assets in the system. As long as a work order has an asset selected, any asset, Fred will be notified when the work order is closed. Second option, assets that I am assigned to. If we check Fred's log, we can see he's assigned to a few assets. With this messaging setting selected, he will only be notified for closed work orders for these specific assets. Third option, assets in the facility that I manage. This is similar to the second option. I'll go to the asset hierarchy, and I'll assign Fred to the Boston location. Fred now manages this facility, which basically means he'll receive notifications for work orders on assets in this facility. The setting below this is to receive notifications on work orders where an asset isn't selected. I'll select this for Fred as well. The final setting more relates to scheduled maintenance. Scheduled maintenance is programmed so that if the previous period's work order hasn't been closed yet, then the schedule won't generate another work order. For example, let's say I have a weekly schedule maintenance setup. On Monday, May 1st, a work order is generated. If, the next week on May 8th, that work order is still open, the scheduled maintenance won't generate another work order, since it would be redundant. This setting allows the user to be notified when this occurs. Basically, it lets the user know that someone didn't close the work order in time for the next one to be generated. So to sum up this section, Fred is getting notifications sent to his email and his onboard notifications folder here. And he is receiving notifications only for closed work orders for the assets in the Boston facility. He is also receiving notifications for closed work orders where no asset is assigned. Again, Fred doesn't need to be assigned to any of these work orders in order for him to receive these notifications. Users also receive notifications for work orders that they are explicitly assigned to. For example, when I'm creating a new work order, I'll assign Fred to complete it. This automatically adds him to the Notifications tab for this work order. The default setting is to only notify Fred when the work order is assigned. So, even though I didn't set up Fred to get notified for active work orders in the first part of this video, because I explicitly assign him to the work order here, he'll get notified. I have a few more options for the type of notifications he can receive for this work order. He can be notified whenever the work order status changes. For example, let's say I de-escalate this from assigned to on hold. He can be notified when the work order is completed, or when an individual task is checked off. Finally, he can be notified whenever the asset for the work order is logged online or offline. To reiterate, these settings are completely separate from Fred's messaging settings in his account. The work order notification settings have no relation to Fred's personal settings, and vice versa. Lastly, I can sneak Fred onto the notifications tab of a work order by assigning him to the asset before the work order is created. For instance, Fred is assigned to the molding machine. So, whenever a new work order is created for the molding machine, Fred is automatically added to the Notifications tab with Notify an Assignment selected. So that's it. 3 ways to configure work order notifications. Number 1, user settings. Number 2, work order notifications tab. And 3, assigning users to the asset.